All right, it's April 5th, and we're in knowledge engineering-ish. One quick update on active infer ants, and then we'll turn, as discussed last week, to thinking about what we can do to prepare for the conference, timelines for that, and then maybe write a short communication to send out on the ISSS site and or to the people that we have in this document to update them on our plans, invite them to join. So yesterday I pushed from my private repo to a institute repo for an ant simulation, and I heavily used Cursor as we had been playing with previously. And one fun piece was like there's the Rust programming language, which is a memory safe, stronger typing language, important for certain systems. And I used a clone GitHub users script to pull in all of the open repos from, like, in this case, just a few users that had active inference code. But you could pull in any numbers of users. And then used that as context to write Rust ant active inference code. It's not exactly perfect. It's more of a starting point for debugging, but it just reflects how, because the language models embed into semantic spaces, there's more of an opportunity for rapid translation across programming languages. So it really does move the level of abstraction to above the language, because writing the syntax effectively in a language is the specialty of these models. Like saying, translate this paragraph into another language. So just kind of interesting and fun. And again, pointing to the relevance of system science as the level of abstraction to help navigate and cybernetically work in those spaces. So just kind of more little darts thrown out there for system science plus human in the loop with LLM coding for generation and translation. Any other random thoughts or topics before we go to the conference?
Can you just remind me what ants is all about?
Oh, they're ants, like the tiny guys on the ground.
Okay.
Like just a fun multi-agent system to simulate. But the package overall is intended to be a kind of like a multilingual effort to do ant simulations. But then that, you know, can go in so many different ways. And then by bringing in ant info plus examples of code, then the language model can just combine those with prompting. And then I also included a lot of the prompts that I used. And the kind of fun puzzle or challenge is like, what's the most concise and direct request that can be made to pitch the fastball and make a clear ask. So these aren't esoteric or bizarre prompts. Like it's what you'd ask a translator. Translate this into Spanish. Confirm this is valid. But then having libraries of these simple, clear asks. And this is still very like farmers market scale, because you could imagine writing some meta programming methods that iterate through uh incrementally improvement oriented prompts, evaluate them according to criteria, represent summaries across the evaluations and so on. Uh, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Well, there's June 2024. So, okay. Okay, June 9th through June 13th. Let's just see what the registration looks like.
Um, do you know if there's, pardon me, I looked yesterday and I couldn't find, it just says call for papers or whatever, but it doesn't really say what's being looked for. And RSIG, for example, hasn't yet written a call for papers specific to the SIG. Also, I thought I saw somewhere a link to information about hotels and whatnot in the area. David was talking about a hotel that's farther away. I just that was on my list to
Yeah.
do today, is check out the website and see if there's been any.
Okay, good question. Okay. Let's try to find this. So here I went to call for papers. Papers and workshops which address the meeting theme. Influence and responsibility. Are you looking for something further than these themes?
Well, I thought in times past, and I could be wrong about this, but I thought in times past, each of the SIGs that wanted to have a session would put out a call for papers specific to their topic. So I'm not, first time doing a SIG, so I don't really know what the process is.
Wow. Confirmation is done rolling basis. We endeavor to respond within 3 business days. And so it looks like we submit an abstract. So maybe we should submit an abstract for our work here with the 4 of us as authors, plus Peter et al. And then in our communication later today, we can say, who wants to be an author on this? And it's unlikely that somebody who hasn't been participating will want to be an author, but we could assess it if it did happen.
That
Submitting
said,
abstract.
May 1 is the deadline.
Yeah.
Okay. Boy, I'm gonna be facing a lot of deadlines simultaneously, it looks like.
But May 1 is the abstract deadline.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so let's think about what we need to do. Register personally for the conference. Write email to send to the people. We could try some, I mean, I don't know what format. Let's check the formatting. Like if they want a linear text paper. Okay, probably they want a linear paper. Otherwise, it'd be kind of interesting and multimedia and fun to just say, this document is our paper. And then just submit the abstract and not require any further work. Or we can think about writing abstract for the submission. We probably won't do that on today. We can write that on 4/12. Plan, travel, and stay. Okay. Let's first just see if it can write a better paper. Just for fun.
On the website, it still says that they're planning a hybrid conference.
Yeah, I
I
saw
haven't
that.
found a registration page, but Michelle said something the other day that led me to think that that was still up in the air. I don't suppose you've heard anything.
No.
Hmm.
Could be a hybrid conference because we could just be walking around live streaming the whole thing.
But
Okay.
not hybrid in the sense of participants giving their presentations via Zoom or something.
I don't know like anything about the planning of this or what the structure is going to be.
Well, that's what it says. It says this is a hybrid meeting, therefore one can attend or
Also,
present.
the URL is wrong. The URL is 2025.
Oh, good grief.
I'll email let's just prepare a set of questions um for admin at Triple S.
Okay.
Okay. So one, What should we ask? Will remote viewers be allowed to participate?
Yeah, I'd just like to know that that's settled, and then I will go. I'm, I have a difficult situation. Right now, if my health held as it is right now, I would probably be able to travel to Washington. Maybe not for the whole conference, but if not, then I'm going to see about doing my part online.
Yeah.
It's unsettled, so
What
I'm
will
not.
participation, e.g., listen only, ask questions, or can they give their presentation?
Yeah, it suggests that you can make a presentation online, but that might, I don't know.
We're just not sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Fee, 2 metro tickets. Indoor skydiving.
Oh, sign me up for that. I
Awesome.
actually did do skydiving when I was in college.
Real skydiving?
Real skydiving, broke my right leg.
Really?
That's why I gave it up.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, when you're young, you do stupid things. I
This is
can't
so
call it stupid, but
I couldn't find any prices for different categories. When I tried to do a test registration, it gave me two choices. One was in-person conference, and the second was online conference 2024. The online conference seemed to come out $100 for, I think, the full event. And then when I went back and then changed it to in-person conference, it came out at 500 for the full and 175 for one day and 350 for 2 days. So there does seem to be an online option coming out at
okay.
$100.
okay.
All right. I put a question for you, Rob, in the chat when you get a chance. Um, what is it? Oh yeah, the program itself. Um, I was trying to get some clarity on that because I might only do a couple of days, and I need to know which days would be the.
Yeah.
And I don't
Let's
see, where does it? I see registration and call for papers, but I do not see anything about programs or the the what do you call them, the plenary sessions and stuff.
we can
Plenary
just
and themes also, or can't remember which different streams of activity. Um, can I ask about this? Submitting an abstract. Uh, I'm not familiar with these the conferences. Does that mean you're committing to putting a presentation and attending and doing a presentation, or can you just submit an abstract on a paper and then not attend?
No, in the past, I think you you submitted, if you submitted, you were essentially, you wouldn't be, how did it work? You wouldn't be considered unless you also had registered.
To register to attend and present in some way.
Yeah, but now if we have the hybrid capability, attend means either online or
Exactly. Exactly.
whatever.
But even then, if it is hybrid and you went for the I went for the online, if I submitted an abstract, they'd expect me to do a Zoom session, would they?
Right,
Okay.
right. Yeah, the whole thing, you can't do a recording, um, and just send that in, because what they're trying to encourage is interaction. So audience questions and so forth.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Right.
Not terrible for the full draft paper.
So Daniel, if you submit one on behalf of knowledge engineering, does that mean that somebody would have to present it in some way?
I guess. I mean, I'll be there, or anyone else can present it. I mean, I'll be the corresponding author if no one else wants to.
Yeah. So you oh, sorry, I missed that at the beginning, that you are planning to attend the conference,
Yeah,
right?
I am planning to be there. Okay, okay, okay. We have to register, plan travel. Here's an email that we're gonna draft right now. We're gonna write the abstract next week, but it's just too fun. Wow. Neo-colonial health security.
Hmm.
Education people. Knowledge engineering people. All right, what should we communicate to them?
Oh, I'm sorry, I may have missed this. Are we talking? Oh, okay, work in education and knowledge. All right, that clarifies it.
While Daniel is composing, George, this hybrid option, um, so if we were doing it remotely, would they set up a screen, obviously, but then there'd have to be some good conference call audio technology to field questions and interactions then. Have you seen that working well, that someone's done it remotely like that into a room of people?
I have seen it. What was I going to say? So I think Michelle described this GovHub or whatever it's called as having those kinds of facilities. That might be another thing to get clarified. That question. Yeah, I have seen that done. Um, Most recently, I went to the Newsphere conference down in Berkeley. It wasn't done for all of the breakout sessions, but it was done for the main auditorium sessions. And but my understanding is it can be done for breakout rooms as well as physical breakout rooms, as well as the plenary sessions and whatnot.
Right. I wonder if this OpenGov, I wondered what that was. I had a quick browse of the website, and it seems to be a lot of things. But maybe it's, first of all, it seems to be a venue. But maybe it's a venue, as you're saying, with a lot of these multimedia rooms geared up for lots of interaction between remote and physical people.
Yeah, that was my understanding as well. So
It'd be nice if the person videoing in has a sight of the audience as well, to see their reactions and interactions there.
yeah, the one that I saw in Berkeley did in fact have that. So you had cameras positioned to show the audience. And in particular, I think they were doing where the mics were set up for people to ask questions.
Right. Maybe that's why they chose OpenGov, because of its streaming and internet connection capabilities.
Yeah, and the one of the initial things that Michelle had written describing what they were trying to shoot for, pardon me, that's what she had said.
Yeah.
So again, while he's composing, yeah, my idea was that I'd like to really highlight the work that you and Bruce have been doing, your list, and how Bruce can incorporate it into his spreadsheet. And these are just works in progress, not complete. So it doesn't require a paper. It's just a presentation
Yeah.
showing what's been done.
I'll have a word with Bruce then, and yeah, maybe we could do a joint thing, and maybe we can get our thoughts together for this 1st of May deadline for abstracts.
That would be great.
I'll be there both in person and remotely.
Attendance has already doubled.
Hey, Daniel.
Yeah.
Quick question. Did you see the newsletter and the GST SIG meeting that's coming up on April 18th?
What time is it on the 18th?
11 Pacific time, 11 a.m. And if you, so the announcement says if you want to participate, let me know, and I will send you the David Rousseau et al.
Yes, please
documentation.
email me and add me to. I put it down now, but email me and add me to any calendar events.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Also, on that day, there's this UCD Research Expo, but like a friend, he has a table, so we're just gonna go to this and have fun. I don't even know if this existed when I was an undergrad, but maybe it did. I just never went. But I can go after. I'll go to the SIG if I can. I mean, okay. So what do we want to email people? If you've participated and would like to join, we'll see who's interested and can be generous with co-authorship. I mean, is there anything else that we want to, if Okay.
You might put something about basic subjects or topics that we propose to cover so that people can be thinking about what contribution they might make in that regard.
Okay. Anyone can name any topics that.
Well, we got, I mean, the two major breakdowns of education and knowledge engineering. And maybe just a statement about what we've been working toward in those two areas. Do you have a single link to, pardon me, to the set of recordings that you've been making?
Oh, good, good. I'll get those. Anything else? just like an undergrad, just chugging away in the background, writing our paper while we do the real work. Okay. Found
Is
that
the
email.
conference submissions of papers, are they going to check it for AI generated submissions?
I mean, it's
I
already
said I
past
don't
that
think they're
point.
sophisticated enough to do that.
We could be like, we're thinking of submitting 2,500 abstracts to the conference.
I'll tell you, the review process in the past has been, if it can write a nearly English sentence, we accept it. I,
Oh,
I I don't know what the rejection rate is, but I'm guessing it's really, really small.
th this is,
Maybe we could get AI to do the peer reviewing then.
oh, I mean, we could have an entire ecosystem twin for the entire event. Maybe we'll get there. Um, George, um, just this is kind of fun. Again, we're just prompting these random things.
Yeah.
And I said, make it more system science. And then the first citation is actually using issue 2015. So it's kind of like, it's just funny that, you know, even if it feels like maybe few people have read it, it actually is discoverable and it really does invoke systemness, even if people like butt heads and they want to have a different way to say it. Perplexity is informed by it.
Right. I think it's giving reference numbers, isn't it? References there.
Yeah, these are the citations. It's actually ISSS.
Very
I mean,
good. Very good.
Principles of System Science Wikipedia, George's faculty.washington paper, ISSS, George's paper. So I mean, I don't know if it's doing some kind of personalization to what I've looked at in the past. That's possible. But ISSS and George are dominating the top results.
And this is perplexity.ai, is it?
Yeah. And then
So what does it source, or I don't know what the terminology is. It's LLM. What is it drawing its
yeah.
information?
So it first takes in your prompt, then it you can also upload files and things like that. Then it dispatches a web search, an actual web search. Then it scrapes those pages, pulls that into the context, and then here it's using Claude 3 model. But then we could rewrite that paper with GPT-4 just to see. Claude 3, there, people go back and forth, but basically Claude 3 is as good slash better in many areas than GPT-4 and has larger context, but it's bringing in this information into its context window. So
From
that's like
the internet,
from the
right?
internet, that's retrieval augmented generation, RAG, which can be done with a local database or it can be done with online resources.
Well, that picked up health security.
Because yeah, previous prompt, I said emphasize health security.
Okay.
So so then this generation, it's taking in the context of its history and then it's injecting in new sources and then integrating that into the output.
Okay.
Training plus recent context plus prompt in context plus resources in context. Output.
So it's for example, for the ISSS, it's only accessing things that it can access, presumably outside the firewall. It can't access many documents that we have inside, like the conference past, yearbooks and conference proceedings and so on. Not strictly speaking, without, unless there's a loophole somewhere, a security loophole.
Correct. Correct.
Right.
Without login, it's not scraping those informations.
And that sort of raises oh shoot, I forgot to put the book. Our yard guys out there, and I forgot to give him the signal. Yeah, there's an awful lot of stuff. I've thought about this often that we've got behind the firewall. That's and the excuse in the past has been, well, this is content is one of the benefits for the membership that they have access to it. But I wonder if that's really in line with the mission of the ISSS to provide all the stuff to the world in general.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's a bit closer to home with the SIG that's being launched, your SIG that's been launched this month. If we're talking about discourse as a discussion forum, if it's login required and we start putting resources up there, then it won't be discoverable by things like this, these AIs or anyone else.
Well, yeah, I think if we have content, we have to differentiate between our private communications and chats that we have about subjects, and that as opposed to what we would want to be public content.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I'm not looking at discourses containing any, behind a login, anything that we would want to be public.
Or we have to do, as you're saying, we have to make a decision. Do we want to make this outside and available to search engines and public and people, any particular content?
Right, and I think this is a good example of why we would want that, because now these systems are going through and discovering, the things that have been done that are public, and I would think it would strengthen the influence that we have on the community. And the
We could
public.
we could explore responsibility and influence in education and knowledge engineering. No, not that.
Very pertinent.
I mean, it's hard to even reckon with this. Like, all of pedagogy and writing has been about developing one artifact. Now, it's not developing one, it's developing a distribution and reading from a distribution, including like speculative ones, one with typos, ones with technical disinformation, all these different kinds of things. And the work having the right accessibility, and then probably they'll continue to be precedent in like, well, if the work is copyrighted, I mean, Rob's SCA work has the copyright column, but then this will be a question like, what can be transformed from a copyrighted work?
Mhm.
Dave has brought up many times like that indexes are not copyrightable or something like that. Not a lawyer, etc. But something like the table of contents and the index can be shared, which may give us a lot of information already, as well as like word statistics, which is what arguably a lot of the companies that are training on copyrighted material, that's the question is, well, if you can't recover the copyrighted information, but it influences, it's just like you're allowed to watch a movie and have it influence you as long as you don't recreate and sell that movie.
Another example is Google Books or archive.org. Sometimes the content is copyrighted and protected, but it's searchable. So a search will reply back and say, here's a short paragraph from this. It's in here, but if you want full access, then you're going to have to acquire it, through legitimate channels.
Yeah. And then I've also Future Fossils, which is a nice Michael Garfield I'm not sure exactly if I can find this right now, but he has just put up a chat bot that, you know, gives discourse with his whole corpus. But and then in the journal with Dave at the Institute for years, like this is kind of our vision. Part of it is to have, well, we have the meeting, we record it, we save the file, plop it into the pipeline, we get the transcription, the captions, the translations, incorporation into the knowledge database, and then kind of like on with the show.
I've wanted to incorporate, say, graphics or cartoons into some narratives. And then you realize it is accessible, but it's all creative content that, you know, if you're legitimate, you have to contact the content owner or copyright owner and get permission and get a license and pay a bit of money maybe, and then it's legitimate.
It's kind of like Spotify and streaming services. Like instead of paying $9 for that album, you're paying a company a monthly amount,
Mm,
and then they are dispensing like a little micro cent per listen.
yeah.
So it's like right now we have that kind of record label journal publisher system. It's like, well, it's $39 for this paper, or you can get a journal access for this much, but then it's gonna potentially move towards like a micro streaming, which is like, okay, if you want to use GPT-4 just to scrape the paper really quick in Perplexity, we're going to charge you like 2 cents
Yeah.
just for that. Oh, please. Huh? What's wrong?
What? Something
Oh, just
wrong?
just doesn't want to help me write a PhD dissertation. But you've taken us so far. No, no, okay, it will. It will. Okay. Um, BCC.
Maybe you just have to ask it nicely.
Yeah. Oh, there's so many funny results. Like one is if you say I'll tip $5,000 if you do this perfectly, and then they've shown like it gives longer and better responses. I will tip you if you improve that table. But then you can test with different numbers. Wow, it's getting a little frustrated with me. Okay. BCC everyone,
It doesn't take bribes.
but it accepts the syntax of bribery,
Yeah.
even though no money exchanges hands. Okay. Send it. Okay. All right. We will write the abstract, or at least we'll just briefly sketch this out on next Friday. And we'll also return more to who's staying where, see about travel and so on. Okay. Any other comments?
None that I can think of.
All right. Farewell. Thank you guys. Bye.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye.